Tēnā koutou katoa, and welcome to Lessons Learnt podcast, brought to you by Ako Mata Tupu. Every week or every episode, we catch up with an educator dedicated to serving our young people across Aotearoa. I'm your host, Billy Revel, and today I get to hang out, chill out with my mate, Chris.
Yeah.
Talofa, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, give us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, talofa lava everyone listening, and those watching. Well, my name is Chris Tuuga-Stevenson, born and raised in the Hati, West Auckland. We're just talking about West Auckland off here. Born and raised in Henderson. Both my parents are Samoan. Grew up in strong, very religious family. The typical story of an island kid, you spend half your time or majority of your time with your cousins, and everything else is all at church, and, whether it's galongas or whether it's White Sunday practice, So I guess the reason I say that is because my background is really my community and my village. Yeah. But thanks for having me on. Also.
No,
I know you're a busy guy and it's hard to get. I had to fight for the spot. I just want to say, I had to fight to get on here.
No, man, you're the first one on our list. So I think it'd be good to kind of get an idea of kind of how you came to be in teaching. Like, what was the thing? What, was it a calling? Did you have a brother who was in teaching and kind of
that guy
told, tapped on the shoulder, you better go and do that? You know what?
I've told this story a lot, but I come from a family of teachers. So mum studied education. All my older siblings are all teachers as well. A lot of aunties and uncles who work as teachers or in education in some way. So it's, I always thought I'm never going to be a teacher. Like, that's the one thing I won't do. Fast forward a couple of years, I finished my time at Auckland Uni, and I was kind of just like, well, I've done that, kind of figuring out my next steps, and I really didn't want to go into teaching. My older brother, who obviously is Ako Mata Tupu alumni, he says to me, bro, I just joined this awesome program, check it out. That was year one, I think 2018.
Yeah.
Nah, no thanks. And he just persisted, and I couldn't figure out why, because I was like, I don't like kids, like, to be honest, I don't like kids. Like, that was my thing. And he says to me, like, having been in the program for that year, he's like, I see exactly how you engage with the kids at church, and I think it would be awesome for especially our young brown boys to have that in a classroom. And so I sat on it for about a year. And then, you know what? I thought, okay, I want to give it a try, because the work I was doing at the time, although it was fun, I feel like it lacked a bit of meaning.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for something a bit more, than just a 9 to 5. And my brother promised me that I'd get that, and geez, he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
You really do get that with teaching. And so that's how I ended up joining up with the C20 cohort. Actually that COVID year, eh?
Yeah.
And so I found my way into, to you. Yeah. I met you, obviously, and shout out to MJ, shout out to also Jono, and man, everyone, the whole team.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a struggle for a few years. I don't know why I didn't want to do it, but I will say, in looking back now, one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah. And like, in terms of your time at Pacific Advanced Secondary School and stuff like that, and also, I guess, you're coming pretty hard from West Auckland, into the heart of South Auckland, or I think they still classify themselves as Central Uri. I think Urahu is still
they try to, but yes, you're right, you're absolutely right. So what happened was, funny story, I thought I was set up to get a placement at a school out west.
Yeah.
So I was on the program, like, sweet, I got my job sus, like all this stuff. We go through SCI, get to the end of it. They say, look, it didn't work out as I thought it would. And I'm like, damn, I got no job.
Yeah.
And then this opportunity at Pacific Advanced popped up, and I looked at it and it said Otahu, and I said, oh my gosh. and nothing against Otahu or South Auckland, but I'm like, Hati West, like, my whole thing was serving my community in West Auckland. And so I thought, look, I'll do my 2 years and then I'll see how I can work my way back into West Auckland. And then, you know what? I done my first year.
Yeah.
And my brother came to me and said, yo, I got a job. I got a opening. I think, it was after that first year. And I said, I don't think I'm ever going to move from this area, because I fell in love with the community.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the families that I work with, the colleagues that I have with my family as well. I found my wife there. I just put that there as well. But yeah, it actually, what ended up happening was I found a place that I felt at home. And that's, the kura that I'm at now, in the community that I serve. I don't see myself anywhere else now, but still, shout out to West Auckland. So is West.
Yeah.
We're the best.
Still in the house, in the heart and everything.
Yeah.
Nice. And I guess, like, what do you think it was about Paso, other than, obviously your wife was there. There's good looking people at Paso.
Yeah. just one or two. But you know what it is? My experience at school, and what I thought high school would be like coming in as a teacher was just thrown out the window as soon as I walked into PAS.
Yeah.
Their whole approach to how they look at a student or a child and their family, and the way that they engage with that family and that child, is a world away from the experience that I had. I went to a school, I'm not going to say what school, but I went to a school where it felt like you were just a number, because there's about 2,500 odd kids.
Yeah.
It's a massive school. And so I'm sitting here thinking, wait a minute, like, where's the bells? Where's the uniforms? Where's in my mind, the structure, right? So as soon as I walked in there, I thought, I knew immediately it was different. And as I got to spend a bit more time in and around the school with the kids, with the aunties and uncles there, I knew that this isn't happening in a lot of other places in Aotearoa. And I think that was a big draw for me.
Yeah.
Because I really thought I really believe okay, this is something different, and I want to be a part of this because I can see the change that it's impacting on the lives of young people every day. And yeah, that's what I think really, that's why, sorry. I think that's what really drew me to PAS and has actually kept me there.
Yeah. I think there's something magic about that place in terms of their structure. And as a Pacifica person, like walking through the halls of Pacific Advanced Secondary School, like there's a familiarity I have with kind of like my own upbringing and things like that. And
you know what? I was talking to my brother about this, and we said it actually felt, it kind of felt like going to youth or something, that was the vibe that we have there. Because it's everyone's family and it's all good. And it's also like, it's not perfect. It's a little rough around the edges, we make do with what we have at our school. But the thing that I know that our kids have is they have that sense of ownership. Like what we have there is theirs.
Yeah.
And to be able to instill that in a child is really important, because they need to feel empowered, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole kaupapa of Teach First, isn't it? Because we want to empower these kids to reach their full potential.
Yeah.
And I think that's one step in, pushing those kids to do so.
Yeah. And like, so what did you study at uni, and like, how does that translate into what you bring to the class?
Yeah, interesting. Eh? So I done a Bachelor of Arts at uni. Well, prior to that, I was studying at SAE, I done a diploma in audio engineering. And then I came out of that. I went into Auckland Uni. I done my undergrad, and I studied Pacific Studies and drama. Okay, the double major. And so my whole thing is like performance. I love performance, right? And if it's not stage, it's music, right? And if there's the two together, that's right. I mean, we're listening to Hamilton on the way here.
Yeah.
But that's really my passion. I love doing that. And so heading into Ako, they were like, oh, you can't teach music and you can't teach drama, but and it's really pulled on my Pacific Studies background, and which is like out of the blue. I took Pac Studies because I think I had a friend. They're like, oh yeah, I'm majoring in Pac Studies. Sweet, I'll do it too. Changed my world as well.
Yeah.
Studying with, under the likes of Damon Salesa, Melani was there as well. Who else? Some really, really awesome Pacifica academics who have done a lot of work, I think, in that tertiary space.
Yeah.
To really nurture and foster. Oh, obviously MJ. MJ is another one. But yeah, pulling from that background, coming into PASS, it gave me a really solid foundation in being able to engage with our kids and engage with the way that PASS works and how the curriculum has been designed, how the structure of the whole program actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think like there's a potential for the model of PASS? Like, do you think it'll work at every other school?
Yeah, that's a good one. I was talking about, you know what? Again, I was talking to this with a good friend of mine, also alumni here at Ako, who works at what you would say a mainstream school.
Yeah.
And we kind of had this talanoa around the struggle of pulling what we do at PASS, because he came and spent some time with us, into the setting and the context in which he works in right now, and where. He noticed right away where there would be a lot of maybe friction.
Yeah.
And I think that's to do a lot with the way in which maybe a lot of teachers in mainstream schools believe the best way to engage our Pacifica kids might not necessarily align with what we do. Also, on top of that, what we do in class is one thing. But really, it's a lot of the legwork that happens outside of class.
Yeah.
For at PASS, it's the tūtangata, Safat Pacifica, and these are things that happen before we even step foot into period one.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would line up with, and I don't know that people would want to do that anyways. Which is all good. My little dream is that PASS West Auckland, putting that out there into the universe. If you're listening out there, people, someone make that happen. But yeah, I don't know if it would work for especially those big schools. A school that I went to, I don't think it would work there because it's just it's huge, and maybe that's the other thing we need to do. Why do we have schools with 2,500 kids in it?
Yeah.
That's
How do we make sure the infrastructure is kind of built in and around and serving and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, I mean, each to their own, but 30 odd kids to one teacher, I mean, for an hour, you just do that math in your head and it's like, how are we able to really in that period engage with all those students? There's so many, and this speaks to a wider conversation of we're under resourced as teachers, we don't have enough teachers. So yeah, there's more to that discussion. But I think that the benefit of what we do at PASS and the luxury that maybe other schools don't quite have is that our classes are a lot smaller, and it does allow for more, obviously more one-to-one time with our kids, and it also allows for us to really develop some really solid learner-focused relationships,
Yeah.
Which I feel like we tend to lose out in bigger schools.
And in terms of like making that connection between your passions, and even though you were you were told you can't teach music, you can't do drama at school, have you found space to kind of express yourself in that way at your kura and stuff?
100. Whāt Pacifica is a time where we get to spend with our kids. This time is like, coming in, I was like, what on earth are we doing? Like, this is an hour of this.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we need to cut this down. But actually, in that time, it's actually allowed me to be able to go in and teach Bese, teach Siva to my kids. And these are the things that I don't think they're the most important things to our Pacific culture, but they're an important aspect of our culture, and so are our languages.
That's so true. And so how many times I sit there, the Bese starts and I just move my mouth so that it looks like I'm singing. Or they'll see the more starts and I'm like, please, no one look at me.
Yeah.
My head.
Just get to the back, get to the back. But yeah, like it's been cool because I've been able to find that space in that time of Whā Pasifika to engage with my kids, you know, in things like Bese and Siva, but also we've been able to explore like the vast number of cultures in within the Pacific. Quite often, you know, the even the name Pacific itself is like that umbrella term. You know, how many languages, how many different dialects, how many different cultural traditions fall within that. And so my time at PAST in the last 4 or 5 years, we've spent exploring all those different and really appreciating it. You know, a lot of kids in Auckland, like, I get it, we're very proud of who we are. Hati, you know, MMT, Hati 685 and all of that, which is beautiful. One thing I've learned to appreciate at PAST is that our history, right? Our history that goes as long before we ended up here in Aotearoa, we were so connected, We were so connected, and you can hear it in the language. And I've seen it more in the dance as I've, you know, learned about different kind of dances from around the Pacific. You could see it in the traditions and the cultural practices. So one thing I really try and encourage my kids is like, I love that for you, like your hati, whoever and wherever you come from. But just the appreciation that we are connected, and that we have a shared history, which is really rich. And I think that knowing that, having a kid know that, gives them that platform, already. They don't come in lost. They don't come in wandering. You come in and you're connected already. You're connected through your whakapapa. You're connected through your community, for your family and whatnot. So that's been something that's really cool.
Cool. All right. We're going to move into a section that Mike and I like to call This or That, which where we give you 2 options and then you can tell me which one you choose.
You have to say why, or can I just...
Well, we'll see. If it's a bit controversial, we'll give you some space to explain yourself. All right. School lunch or own lunch?
We have a lunch lady, so I'm going to
you're going to get in trouble if you don't say.
Shout out Auntie Mele, shout out Auntie Lina. Nah, hey, they make the best lunches, man. I'm always grateful for those lunches.
Yeah. Plus, you don't have to worry about making your own lunch.
I can't cook, so yeah, that's the other thing.
Nice. Before school or after school?
I think after school, man. It has to be.
Nice. Seniors or juniors?
Oh, sorry, seniors, juniors, man. Those are my babies. Love them. Yeah.
Nice. Teacher's pet or cheeky kid?
Cheeky kid. That was me.
Athletics or prize giving?
Oh, prize giving.
Yeah.
Prize giving. And the time where they fa'ula you. That's me. That's me right there.
I love the cheeseburgers and the
yeah. Because I wasn't fit enough to do athletics, so that's all good.
Rugby or league?
Ooh, I'll say league.
Ooh, that's the wrong decision. What team?
Melbourne Storm, but
up the was. Wet weather or hot weather?
Ooh, hot weather.
Yeah. Do you have do you have the games in schools where you do like the year 13s versus teachers?
No, we don't do that.
True.
They might beat us up.
I asked that last one. All good. They might beat you up. Wow. Nice. Vietnamese cafe or Samwoo's?
Oh, Vietnamese cafe. Listen, don't ever bring Samwoo's around to... If I'm in the vicinity, this is for my wife.
Yeah.
She loves Samwoo's.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Vietnamese cafe. How do I support the local, man?
Nice.
Those guys are family.
Local.
But these guys are family. Vietnamese cafe is like,
share kappa.
Our kids are always wrecking their stuff, so shout out to those guys.
Hey, man. I think they're both good. That was the right answer to say. But I'll go with Samwoo's. Shout out to John.
Yeah.
Hopefully hook us up. Give us a sponsor for the podcast. We can have some food with me.
Oh, do you guys not make food already?
No. Cool. Our next part is called All Goods or Not Good. Banning cell phones in schools.
Ooh. I think, you know what? We we kind of got out early on this one, and we already banned them.
Yeah.
So I think it would be all good. For me, it's more about. I'm speaking specifically about our school.
Yeah.
The ability to manage themselves with their phones during school time, just we haven't been able to get there just yet. Hopefully one day, you know what the dream is? One day it's like the kids have the cell phone and they're using it in class to do their assignments and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you think, like, because I think one of the fears around those policies is that it's another thing for teachers to manage. Is it something that you've worked with kind of Whānau?
Yeah. So that it actually comes from it was born out of because our school does tāno ako. And a big part of the feedback from the parents was actually that we had a lot of problems stemming from social media, and things being posted and things being said, and so the parents obviously are concerned about the safety of their kids. So that was a big part of that decision being made was from our parents identifying that actually they don't need their phones in school. And if they do, obviously we work with the whānau to figure out, okay, they need it at this time, or you need to get in contact with them and whatnot. And again, we're a small school. Yeah. Like you can call me, my parents call me like, oh, can you send so-and-so to the car park? Like it's like that,
Cool.
So yeah.
Sweet. All good, not good. Headphones in class.
Okay. That's a hard question because I let my kids wear headphones in class. Yep. When it's time to, I listen to music when I work. That's my thing too.
Cool.
I don't think that the kids should have to listen to my music. Because they'll say, so you listen to the same songs my dad listens to. I was like, all right. So I allow my kids to use headphones when it's time to do, if they're working individually or on their own.
Yeah. That's smart too, because then they don't mess up your Spotify wrap up of the year. I made that mistake with my daughter.
Yeah. Now you got like...
So Blackpink is my number one song.
Are you sure?
It was silly. And when I was like, what's the song? She's like, that is my favorite song. And then the swearing starts happening. Who's supervising you? Cool. The last one is religion in the classroom.
Well, because pastor's special character, that is a part of something that we do. We don't necessarily have, how would you call it? RE, like religious education. But we do have lotu every morning. Every morning, before a class, and obviously at the end of the day. Yeah. And we find that's and our parents want that too, because we find it's a way that it settles our kids, prepares us as we, obviously begin our day and as we end our day. But not necessarily religious education as such.
Yeah. Okay. Some, like, I guess some of the practices are still kept because they reflect our cultures, right? Most of
absolutely,
like religion is still a massive part of being Samoan, I guess. Or
it's so intertwined into who we are now that someone said to me, like, it's almost beyond going back because you have to undo so much. So it's so much a part of our identity now. Yeah. And it's also, honestly, having lotu of our kids in the morning, it's such a settling way to start your day, especially if you've been running around all morning. And
do you ever find that you have like kids of other religions and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah,
we have, and
how do you like
growing
kind of navigate that?
Well, you know what? We have a growing Hindi.
Oh yeah.
Yes, quite a number of Hindi students come through. And I think we're clear with them, right throughout. But I remember hearing this not too long ago. One of our students who is Hindi, although she doesn't necessarily believe in Jesus or as such, she did say that she found our praise and worship time settling. That was her reflection. And I guess that really is a big part of doing it before we start our day and going into class. We want our kids to feel settled. We want them to feel grounded, so that they're set up in the best way possible before we head into class.
Do you have any funny stories from class?
I don't recommend you do this, people. I'm not proud of this. But you know what? I'll talk about when I was at school, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've shared this. This is okay because the guy's my best friend. Shout out to my guy, Matua Slips. Look, you know that mad scramble? We're doing it kind of right now too at the end of the year where everyone's just trying to get their work done.
Yeah.
And so I'm 7th form and I'm trying to get my work done and I'm like blasting it. Like I'm trying my best to get as much work as I can done. My media studies teacher's like, this is the last day to hand in this essay. I'm like, safe, bet. My mate, me and my best mate head to the library. We spend the entire day writing out our essays.
Yeah.
And then he left. He's like, yo, I got to go catch my bus. So he goes, or he goes home. And then he left his essay.
Oh, no.
I'm not proud of it. I already said that. He left his essay, okay?
Yeah.
That's fine.
It was a pretty good essay.
It was better than mine, bro. He done like, he had a much better essay. So you know what? I just thought, well, look, he went home, he rewrote it because he thought he lost it.
Oh, true.
And I may or may not have submitted that. But you know what? It worked out for the better because we both finished, got our UE, and then we both eventually graduated from our university. So shout out to my guy. I appreciate that. I wouldn't be here, you know? I wouldn't be here.
Oh, no. You're like, this has turned into a confession piece.
Not the Ako confessions.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, actually.
The bad things. Oh.
Who owns a white safari?
Oh, no. Casey, you got no sleep. You're safe. You're safe.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, man.
That leaves you and Mike, if possible.
Cool. What's kind of like on the cards for you next? Like, what are you kind of thinking about?
Well, I came into this thinking, I'll do. I think I at least want to give what I'm doing right now like 10 years. You know, so that's what I thought at first, and then I met my wife, and she altered that plan a little. But the goal is still right now. Is to stay in this space for the next couple of years. I love what I do right now.
Yeah.
I love the people that I work with, the families and the children that we work with. You know, I'm really blessed to be able to serve them every day, and so I hope and my prayer is that I'm still here doing this in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Touched on earlier, like a West Auckland Pacific Advanced Secondary School.
Yep.
Is maybe to Martina, South Auckland, or
you know what? I said that. I mentioned it to I already mentioned it to Martina and Michael as well. But we'll see how that works out. You know, if that's where the Lord calls myself and my wife to be, that's where we'll go. But for now, you know what? I love being in the classroom. I love being in front of my kids. And like this week right now, we're shaping to go into prize giving and finish for the week. And like I can't help but look back over the last year and think about like there were so many barriers and so many roadblocks, and there still continue to be these same barriers, you know?
Yeah.
And these kids are just resilient.
Yeah.
These kids are just awesome. And so, you know, that's more than enough to get me up in the morning, drive for an hour,
through that traffic, man.
That traffic.
All your way.
That's more than enough motivation because man, these kids turn up.
Maybe
all the
you
time.
should get motivated to move to South Auckland.
No, you need a lot more than that, buddy. I wish. No, but seriously though, these kids are so amazing, and I actually want to make a shout out to all the kids who, especially you seniors who have finished up, you know, your exams in the last few weeks. You know, Auckland got off to a rough start this year.
Yeah,
you know, so shout out to all the kids in Auckland, man. You know, that mindset of like I can do it, I can push through. That's what our kids need more of.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a privilege to be able to serve these kids and their families.
Nice. one of the things we've been kind of talking about with some of our guests as well has been some of the nostalgia from their school days and things like that as well. We did lunchbox things, but we also did like games that you used to play. I wanted to do like, what was the fad? Like, what was the thing while you were at school?
What was the thing?
Like for me, it was I'm in the era of chatterings.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember chatterings, and like for a good couple of I feel like months, all you heard around that neighborhood was like, that's the sound of a chattering.
Oh man, I'm finna expose my boys right now. Okay, straighteners for guys. Do you remember this? Yeah, you know who you are. You know who you are. These guys right here, the straighteners. Let me get at the people who were the pointy shoes. You know who you were. The pointy black leather shoes. I think those are still a thing too.
Yeah, we used to wear it.
Man, there were so many, but that was the one that got me. You know what? Because I had like when my hair grows out, it's like curly hairs, so I could never get it.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, man, these guys look pretty sick. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, do you remember that the straighteners?
I feel like it goes with that music too. What's the not the cough music?
Yeah. It was that. It was there were so many, but that was the one that really sticks out. That and then like the pointy shoes with the straightened hair. That was like
I feel like pointy shoes are okay.
Yeah.
But I like, do you think you can still pull off the straightened hair?
No. I always give my mates used to do it.
I'd give it a go, but I don't think I have the
No, I'm not far behind you, brother.
You decide the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, probably like a lot of other people in 2020, you know, that lockdown period, my friends and I kind of went through a thing, all in our own individual lives. And so we found, you know, when we came to each other, we thought like, we didn't know how to talk about this.
Yeah.
Which was quite a strange thing because these are my boys. Like, been close for, as they say, since nappies. You know, I've known these guys since I was little. But we found that our relationship didn't have that space for us to be able to share and really be vulnerable with each other. And I guess the next layer to that was we were looking for something to do.
Yeah.
You know, like my boys, shout out to my boys. I love them, man. We went through all the phases that you go through with your friends.
Yeah.
You know, you go through the little moips phase, you do, you know, stupid stuff. You go through the just started drinking and then, you know, the clubbing, all that. And we reached a certain point in our friendship where we thought, is there something more to this friendship than just meeting up to drink? We used to, you know, that was kind of the thing that brought us together.
Yeah.
And so at that point, which kind of aligned with that time going into COVID as well, we thought we need something more. So we kind of stopped that. And then this podcast idea came up. Because we sort of realized like, hey, wait a minute, there's probably a ton of other guys just like us with the same kind of circle, possibly going through the same kinds of things. And if we can engage just one of those groups, to just encourage them, not just as friends, but I think more importantly as husbands, as partners, as sons and as brothers, as uncles, if we can engage with these men to, you know, inspire something and to, you know, put some positive energy, whatever it is, and however you receive it, then it's a good thing. And so that's become the reason why we meet now. Yeah. And it's actually really beautiful because to kind of look back and think about where we've come from and the main motivation for hanging out to what we have now. And you know, a few of our boys are married now. Quite a few of them have, one of them has kids. And we're just in a different season of life. Yeah. And so, you know, our hope is that we can, through our experience and our engagement with other people who have experiences, you know, that someone can take away something. If it's one thing, so be it. Yeah. You Decide Podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Anywhere you consume content will probably be there, Spotify too. But make sure you check out Billy and Lewis and Mike and what they're doing out
No,
here.
silly.
Because this setup's better than ours.
No,
It's just-
no. It's just different. It's different. Because I quite like I like your guys' setup too. Like this, it does feel very much like kind of instead of going to a garage and having a few drinks.
Yeah.
Like you've got that kind of vibe going and like, I think you have different conversations when you have that feel with people, like a comfortability. Maybe not so like, I don't know if you've got structure or how you guys like, do you try to add structure as you go? Or
we kind of started off and this is all still like, we're learning as we go as far as how the podcast itself happens, but we like it to be a talanoa. And the key thing about that is that we hate it when people come on and we have to interview them.
Yeah.
Like, we've had a few people on, which has been cool, but we don't want it to be an interview where we sit here and we ask other people questions, right? We want it to be free flowing in that you're bringing your opinion, you're bringing your experience, and we're putting it together and we're kind of, our viewers kind of get to decide on, that's what I'll take away. I like that idea or, but like, honestly, we started off with the structure and then like episode 2, it went out the window.
Yeah.
It's just, it's I think it's a bit harder when you have more than 2 people on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so many people on it.
Well, I don't know, but
get Mike on here.
that's right.
I want to know more about
just
Mike.
get me
and
on
what
your
he does.
podcast. Has there been a response from your young people? Like,
Yeah, some. It's, the surprising one is the parents.
Yeah.
Hey, Sally Malawata.
Yeah.
The kids. Because they like the fast, snappy stuff. So anything on TikTok, they love. But I've had a few parents come up and have a chat to me, or which is cool, which is nice. The kids got over it pretty quickly. The things just move on so quickly,
Yeah.
Like, but I was like, but we went viral, and they're like, yeah, we don't care. That was yesterday. We're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But I've had some funny stories from our kids about watching that stuff, and that my dad watches that. I was like, great.
Yeah.
Way to make me feel old.
Do you find that like they have more questions about kind of starting their own platforms or what they might look like for them as well?
I haven't had anyone just yet ask about that.
Yeah.
But I have had some kids like, you can see that to them it's like, wow, you're on this. You have a YouTube page, or you have a Instagram page, and trying to explain to them like, no, you can have that too. Like, these things are doable. And for some of them, it might seem like out of their realm. Like, no, I can't do that. So, I mean, I a lot of our kids still just want to be All Blacks and play for Mana Samoa and
which are great things.
Yeah, which are better things. Do that. Don't do the podcast. Don't do the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, thank you so much for sharing. And it's just been mean to kind of catch up with you and
Man, thank you.
kind of see how things are going. And, I think even from the journey that I've seen you on, and, from the young Chris setting up to camp and checking out all the girls to
my wife, if you watch, he's lying. He's lying.
Now you're married and got your own podcast and everything like that. Naturally, I'm proud of the stuff you're doing, and especially those conversations that you guys are having and making space for men and Pacifica men as well to feel okay about being vulnerable and sharing some of those things as well.
Thank you. So.
Ours is the lessons learned podcast, and how we like to kind of finish things off is, you've got a bit of experiences now, been in the classroom for a while, and you've got your own platform. What are the lessons, or what is the piece of advice, or what is the message you'd want to hear our young people to hear, or yourself to hear?
Yeah. If I'm thinking about myself, one thing that rings true, and I hope rings true with young people, is that your current situation is not your reality forever, and that stems out of like in the past couple of years, you can see the defeat. You can see why it's so hard for these kids to engage in anything we do at school, you know? And so my encouragement is like, yes, it is hard. And I won't pretend for a second that I know anyone's struggle. Like, you know, everyone's struggle is theirs. But that situation is not forever. And there are people in our community, there are organizations in our community that are changing lives every day. And, you know, a simple rule that I was taught, or, you know, that I still talk about with my friends is like, surround yourself with good people who want to see you do well, people who are going to lift you up and not break you down. So yeah, that's my encouragement to our young people. I also want to encourage our teachers too, man. Like, you know, it's been one of those years, up and down, and like can't catch a break since going into lockdown. So I want to shout out to all those teachers, not just them, everyone working in education. You know, the work you do matters, and it really does impact amazing change. And this week, I'm saying that because this week we get to celebrate that change. We get to celebrate that success at our prize givings and at graduations. So yeah, shout out to everyone working in this space. And of course, shout out to Ako Mata Tupu and the mahi that you guys do, man. Like I said, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And so if you're looking for something meaningful, if you're looking for something with a bit of purpose, you know, come see someone here at the team. Come find Billy.
Yeah,
have a chat. Yeah, cool. Yeah, because they, you know, the work you guys are doing is just awesome, man. So yeah, thank you.
No, thank you, Barry. And it's been mean to catch up.
Mahalo.
Sweet. We'll see you on your podcast. I keep dropping it in. Sweet.
Mahalo, bro.
Mahalo.